Turn your mic on, my man. Welcome back to Inside the Game, episode 238. Nate, I can finally see your levels. There we go.
There we go. All right, we're back. Sorry. Yeah, had to turn the mic back on. I was muting it because I was typing. I was looking for something, and I didn't want the typing to come through in the interviews. But great conversations with
But you'd
both of
be, you'd
those
be
two.
muted, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
That's true. I feel like I've heard myself through the commercials before. Anyways, I don't know what's going on. But great talk with both of those two. Alan was cracking me up at the end, man. I hope that Ireland
Is it
finds
just
a
because
way
he's
to
Irish?
not only
That's probably just the
it might.
reason.
It might partially be that, or it might partially be that he literally said he may retire if they end up making it. So it's like that's a very. I'm sure the school or the program itself is probably like, let's kind of hope Ireland maybe doesn't make it, so that our head man doesn't bail on us. But great conversation with those two.
Yeah, no, they were great. We talked a little bit before about what they had to say, and nothing's changed. I thought it was really good interviews on both sides and really good perspectives on where each of those teams who lost in the first round of the USL Championship playoffs and what they're trying to do to improve that and, get out of the first round and make a deeper run.
So getting a little bit into, I know we got a few things that we wanted to touch on. DCFC building a new stadium. I know we've talked about them kind of breaking ground on this new stadium. They're going to be knocking down a abandoned hospital. Has
They
not
did
been
knock down
used
the
in
hospital. They demolished it completely
Southwest
yesterday.
Detroit, where they are going to be building that stadium. So let's chat about this a little bit, Ryan, before we get into our all sports content. I know we're right at about the 10 o'clock hour, but we just came back from a break, so we can get into this a little bit. But did knock down the hospital, building that new stadium for Detroit City FC. And I think it's an exciting opportunity for a lot of reasons, Ryan. And I think one of the biggest reasons for me personally watching, the city of Detroit, and I know I'm not from there, but the one thing that we all can kind of look at when it comes to the 313 is that they are slowly bringing the city back, but it's a block by block approach. I feel like a lot of times, typically you'll see, they'll fix up this block and then they'll move to the next one, but you're seeing certain parts of the city coming back in one way or another, reviving itself, kind of building from the bottom up. I think of an area like, I think Corktown is probably a good example. There used to be, once upon a time, that area was not considered very good. There's a reason why, the Tigers moved downtown. It was rough over there. It wasn't really a place you kind of hung out around, even after games. Like it kind of reminds you a little bit of like what the White Sox are dealing with on the south side. Like it's just, it's got character and it's old and everything, but ever since then, that area has come back. The old Tiger Stadium, they've turned it into now apartments surrounding that field that I know Kaz Tech uses, and it's a great facility. And you've seen an influx, yeah, you can say gentrification, sure, but you've seen an influx of younger people coming into the area and starting businesses and doing these things. And so I think what's cool about what we've seen from Detroit City FC and building this new stadium is that maybe they'll be able to revive the area around where this stadium is going to be.
Well, it's already
kind
being
of
revived. Even before
that's the
DCFC
thing,
got
but
there.
Right, but it'll be another layer on top of that. And I feel the same way about like with the Grand Rapids team that's moving into town. Yeah, I mean, is it becoming more crammed? Sure, but I think what's more exciting is that it's going to bring more people to downtown, which is I think where Detroit wants to continue to get. And I think this is just again adding another layer on top of that. It's just another example of a team that is moving to a part of the city that would like to see more of an influx of people coming actually into town to see these games. And so I think it'll look really cool. I've seen the blueprints of what the stadium is actually going to look like, and I'm really excited for it. I just want to make sure that I get to, and I don't even know if it's a possibility anymore, because are they officially out of Keyworth now, or do they have one more season left?
They're still at Keyworth.
In Keyworth Stadium. They're still at Keyworth? Okay, I got to get one more game in there before I head over to the new place. But I don't know. I've seen the plans for it, and it looks sick, personally.
Yeah, Aluminum Field looks good on paper, but nothing's been built yet. They've just destroyed the hospital, but that area where was revived with Michigan Central, which is the old train station for the people who don't know. It's now
Mhm.
called Michigan Central. It's a really
Yeah.
nice area over there now. Last summer, I had a chance to tour the not tour, but go to the museum that they created on the ground floor. Obviously, the majority of the train station is used for Ford. I believe it's Ford. Ford in their new like
Mhm.
innovation area, I guess. I don't know exactly what it's used for, but no, it's a brilliant area over there. And
Yeah.
it's to the right a little bit of the train station if you're looking on it directly on. But no, that area it's already being revived as it is, and Detroit City FC hopefully can create it, revive it even more. But it's already being revived, and it's a wonderful area over there. If you haven't had a chance to go to Michigan Central at some point, you have to. What they did with that place, what the inside of that place looks like, and it even shows
Yeah.
what it used to look like on the inside, and it's what they did with it. I don't know. I don't even know how they did it, and some of the things that they're able to kind of
Yeah.
repurpose, I guess. It like taking old
Mhm.
things that were just stuck there, and now you have and even some of the things that they found inside Michigan Central, where they're like, yeah, they found this in this part of Detroit, and they found this just being covered in this some abandoned building. Like it's actually kind of cool, like where some of the abandoned stuff that was on the old train station is now back in it, and they're like there's
Mhm.
stories of how they found the clock in some abandoned warehouse like down the street or something. It's crazy, but no, that area
Mhm.
of Detroit is kind of in the next phase of revitalization in that city, and Detroit's constantly
Yeah.
on the come up. And then yesterday I actually drove by the first Detroit City FC stadium, which was played at Cass Tech on their football field. So I've been by that one, been to Keyworth, but I will say this: I'll miss Keyworth when it comes down to when it comes to its end. It's their final season this year.
Mhm.
It's an unbelievable stadium. The walk up, I feel like, through the neighborhoods to ultimately get to Keyworth. It's it feels like that European feel, I guess you could say, that lower league European feel where it's like the fourth or fifth
Yeah.
division, and you're heading down there and you're walking with the fans to get to the stadium. Because look at it, all American stadiums in this country, for massive sports are all in cities. It's in between
Mhm.
skyscrapers, stuff like that. And in soccer, their massive cities are still in neighborhoods for like the
Yeah.
top teams in England. Man City's the Man City's more a little bit in the city, but Arsenal, Old Trafford, Anfield, that's all in neighborhoods. And it's still
Mhm.
walking into Keyworth, you get that feel. You don't get that American sports feel, I guess. I can't really explain it, but walking
Yeah.
through those neighborhoods, those houses in tight areas, like just like it is in England, and no, it's wonderful to see. And I'll be whenever Keyworth, because I don't know, maybe the stadium won't be built in a year. Maybe they will have to extend their time at Keyworth whenever that final game is. It'll
Yeah.
be sad for sure.